Here's an introduction to your Cloud9 IDE. On the left, you'll see a sidebar with the Workspace tab open. This is where you'll see a listing of the files and folders in your current project. The main panel in the middle is where you can view and edit your files. Let's test this out by writing a simple README. First, we'll go to File in the menu bar and click New File. You'll see a tab called Untitled open up in the main panel. This is where we'll be writing the contents of our file. Let's type in a short description of what our app is supposed to do. Then go to File and click Save, and a Save As pop-up will appear. Input the name you want to call the file. Here we'll call it readme.txt and click on Save. Once you've saved the file, it will appear in the Workspace tab in the directory it was saved in. You can then close the file and reopen it by double-clicking on the file name in the Workspace tab. Now we come to the third panel on the bottom. If you're familiar with Unix, you'll notice that the bottom panel looks very much like a bash terminal. That's because it technically is. You can run all the terminal commands you'll need in a Rails project in this terminal. And since we selected Ruby on Rails when we created this workspace, our environment should come prepared with the Rails command. You can get help on how to use the Rails command by typing Rails help. This is true of most commands you'll type in the terminal. If help doesn't work, try --help or -h or --h. Now, let's try creating a new Rails project inside our project folder. To do that, we'll type Rails new // into the terminal. If you read the Rails help earlier, you'd have noticed that Rails new takes a directory path as its parameter. Here we're passing in the // path, which in Unix simply means this directory, which in our case, it's the what time is it directory. Press enter and you'll see some Rails magic. What just happened is that Rails generated some standard folders and files that it uses to get started. Your README text file is still there, and so is any other files you created earlier, so don't worry about them. Now that Rails has generated its files, you'll want to start it up to see your work. The next command you'll learn is bundle, which is part of a project called Bundler. Bundler maintains the plugins in your Rails apps. In the Rails world, plugins are called gems, so it would be better to say that Bundler maintains your app's gems. When you generated all those files earlier with Rails new, a file called gem file was also created. Open this file to see what gems will be included in your app. Go to your terminal and type bundle install, and Bundler will get those gems from the internet and install them for your project. Now, with our gems installed, we should be able to run our Rails server to see our newly created Rails app. Click on Run in the menu bar, select Run With, and choose Ruby on Rails. A new tab will open up in your terminal panel, and you'll see it say, Your code is running at, and give you a URL. Click on that URL and a browser tab will open up in the main panel where you can view your web app. You can also right-click on the link, click Copy where a pop-up will appear with the link as a text. Then you can right-click and copy that and paste it into a new tab in your browser to view your app in a browser. In the next video, I'll explain a bit about the structure of the folders in this Rails app. In the meantime, look around the files generated and try to guess what each of them do based on what folder they're in.